Hello, testing, testing. Tishin, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you guys.
Okay, good. We start in about 1 or 2 minutes. Thank you.
Okay. Testing. Okay. Testing. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, and our beloved student, good morning. A very warm greeting to each and every one of you, and welcome to Seeker in Dialogue. So, I am Sinuan, the MC for this event, and on behalf of the organizing team, we would like to extend our appreciation for your presence today. And allow me to introduce the TYS Cambodia. The Young SEAKers Cambodia chapter is a national chapter of the Young SEAKers and headquartered in Singapore. TYS is a non-profit organization that brings together a vibrant, competent ASEAN youth who are passionate about advancing the ASEAN-China region. Our mission is to build a regional community of passionate seekers and provide them with complementary programs to maximize their cross-border competency. And on this day, we have the Seekers in Dialogue, and the topic is exploring opportunities in ASEAN-China region, education and career. And this session, we aim to achieve 3 objectives. First, to bring a better awareness to offer the knowledge of the participant, and 2, to encourage and equip participants with tips and connections that enable them to prepare for their educational career objective within ASEAN and China region. And 3rd, to create a dialogue and provide a platform that improve the future of Cambodia and ASEAN youth to ASEAN-China region in the spectrum of higher education and regional career. And before we start, I would like to introduce the agenda for today. So from 9:15 to 9:25, we will have a introduction by MC, which is introduced by me, and then we will have a opening remark. And then we will have a keynote address by Mr. Lin Weihua, the representative of Chinese embassy, and then by Mr. Bison, and then opening remark by Mr. Tai Heng, and then our chapter leader for today. And after that, we will have a 5-minute break for team to prepare for the stage. And after that, we will have a panel discussion. In the panel discussion, we will provide you 20 minutes for this Q&A session. And after that, we will wrap up and closing our event. So before this session starts, we would like to invite we would like to display the video of Mr. Lin Weihua, representative of the Chinese embassy in Cambodia, to give his keynote address. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and fellow panelists. My name is Lin Ruihua. I am the Cultural Counselor at the Chinese Embassy in Cambodia. It is my pleasure to represent our embassy in today's event. I would like to share with you my thoughts on the role of education in facilitating China's economic growth and connecting the people of China and ASEAN countries. China has been the world's second largest economy for 12 consecutive years from 2010. Even under the situation of the COVID-19 pandemic sweeping the world in 2020, China's GDP reached 101.6 trillion yuan, which is 15.7 trillion US dollars, up 2.3% from a year earlier, making the country the only major economy in the world with positive growth. The GDP figure represented an increase of 1,500 times from 1952. China's economic growth is a miracle achieved under the leadership of the Chinese Communist Party. Being a college student back in the 1980s, I could never imagine that we'd live the kind of life that we are living today. I'm still new in Phnom Penh. When I walk in the streets of the bustling city, I sometimes feel deja vu. Phnom Penh looks in many ways like some southern Chinese cities I knew. The city, along with the country as a whole, is ready to take off and the people are full of hopes. China and Cambodia are good neighbors, good friends, good brothers, and good partners. The two countries have always supported each other on issues concerning each other's core interests and offered each other assistance in times of need. China will be with Cambodia every step of the way in its pursuit for a better future. China's economic growth owes much to education. China has the largest education system in the world. In June 2021, there were 10.78 million students taking the National Higher Education Entrance Examination. We call it Gaokao. International students have enrolled in over 1,000 higher education institutions throughout the country. Investment in education accounts for about 4% of total GDP in China. In 1986, the Chinese government passed a compulsory education law, making 9 years of education mandatory for all Chinese children. Today, the Ministry of Education estimates that about 99% of the school-age children have received 9-year basic education. China has improved the quality of education through a major effort at school curriculum and other reforms. China's Education Modernization 2035 plan is launched to set the direction for the development of the education sector from capacity to quality, and that the modernization of education should support the modernization of China. In 2020, China's Ministry of Education launched a pilot education program which will allow 36 top universities in China to select outstanding high school graduates who are willing to serve the country's major strategic needs. Under the program known as the Strong Base Plan, the universities will focus on enrollment in majors such as mathematics, physics, chemistry, biology that have been proved unpopular with students in recent years. Many students prefer to study in majors for high-paying careers. In 2003, China became the first country to establish a strategic partnership with ASEAN. The Joint Declaration on China-ASEAN Strategic Partnership for Peace and Prosperity, or CASP, signed in Bali, Indonesia, marked the beginning of a new historical stage in the fast-growing relations between the two sides. In the joint statement of the 19th ASEAN-China Summit to commemorate the 25th anniversary of the establishment of Dialogue Relations 2016, the Chinese government pointed out that people-to-people exchange and cooperation, or PPEC, has since officially become the third pillar to constitute the framework of relations between the two sides, following the other two pillars, political security and economic and trade cooperation. In 2018, the China-ASEAN Strategic Partnership Vision 2030 was released, reaffirming that encouraging PPEC, enhancing mutual understanding and deepening friendship is an important way to build a higher level of CASP. Over past decades, China-ASEAN have engaged in all-round, multi-tiered, and wide-ranging cooperation, which has delivered bountiful outcomes, with the 2+7 cooperation framework being upgraded to the 3+X framework, and a leap in the ties from quantity to quality. China-ASEAN relationship now enjoys tremendous vitality and bright prospects. Higher Education Exchange and Cooperation, or HEEC, is an important form as well as main content of China-ASEAN cultural exchange and cooperation. In July 2016, China's Ministry of Education issued Promoting the Belt and Road Initiative Education Action, which suggested that the countries along the route should join hands strengthen cooperation, and play an active role of HEEC in CASP. Facts have shown that in the past 25 years, HEEC has provided strong talent and intellectual support for the golden decade of CASP. China has close educational ties with Cambodia. For each year in the past decade, hundreds of Cambodian students go to China to study with scholarships granted by the Chinese government and various institutions. With the skills and Chinese language proficiency they required in China, they become an important labor force in building their own country. Being aware of the job market need of employees who are competent in both Chinese language and professional skills, local institutions in Cambodia have been increasingly building up the Chinese Plus training programs to combine Chinese language teaching and with certain practical skills. I wish today's meeting, organized by the Young SEAKers Cambodia, every success. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lin Ruhua, for his concise speech and the opening remark. And now we would like to welcome Ms. Bison, Principal of Enrichment and Professional Learning of Singapore Cambodia International Academy, to have a welcoming remark. Please welcome.
Good morning to everyone, and to our guest panelists, students, ladies and gentlemen, and people online. Very good morning and welcome to this morning's Young Seekers Dialogue at SEIA. At SEIA, we are very happy to support the young ones, okay, and especially this new generation of people who are passionate about what they're doing and also seeking good opportunities. Then SEIA is also very happy to be part of your journey, okay, and to pursue endless opportunities and to be future ready. Now, this morning's dialogue topic is very, very important and a very timely one because it's imperative for your own future planning. As Cambodia faced disruption, not just by COVID, but also by technological and digitalization transformation, it is very important for us to see where opportunities lie. Why? Because the word crisis in Chinese is wei ji, and in wei, which is crisis, there is ji hui, which is opportunities. So this word, it's very interesting because it's really an oxymoron, right? Because there's crisis and then there's opportunities. And indeed, okay, with the crisis of COVID, it has actually opened doors to many opportunities, and for a country like Cambodia to leapfrog into digitalization. And because of that, I think Cambodia's technological advancement has moved very quickly in 10 years, right? Within 2 years, okay? And so that is a remarkable change. Change. Again, this word change, if I were to change one letter, it becomes chance. So this is again something that you must put into perspective. That everything, there are 2 points of view and perspectives. You can look at it in terms of it being a challenge, but you can also look at it that it becomes an opportunity, something that you can seize. So before I end the welcome address, I would like to pose questions to you. And just by simply using the basic questioning technique of 5 Ws and 1 H, right? For this topic, while you are listening to the guest panelists, think about what are the opportunities for you? Okay. Why should you be interested? How should you go about seizing the opportunities? Where can you find them? Who can you talk to and be mentored by? These are very important but very simple questions. And it's important for you that you seize the opportunities. All right. So with that, I welcome all of you. Okay, and I am eagerly waiting to hear the panelists talk about this, and in particularly so, Cambodia being the chairperson for ASEAN, okay, and Cambodia's and China's relationship is also growing by the day. So it's a very opportune time for us to look at what lies ahead for us. All right. So again, thank you for coming here. To the young seekers, thank you for seeking CIA to be your partner in this. Okay, we love to journey with you, and this journey is really a path, okay, that poses different pathways to you, as well as there is no end in sight, okay, but enjoy the path towards your own beautiful future. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bison, for your concise welcoming remark. And now we would like to invite Mr. Tai Heng, our deputy chapter leader of the Young SEAKers Cambodia, to give the opening remark. Thank you.
Hello, hello. A very good morning. I hope you get a very good sleep last night, because last night I was thinking what would be my message here today with my fellow young people who are coming here with one purpose. I think one common purpose is to gain something back, the insight, the sharing from our speaker. The very first, distinguished guest panelists, Bong Supek, Tukru, Ming Tong, and my dear colleagues, Sishin, who's joining us from Singapore. A very good morning and welcome to the Seekers in Dialogue, but also dear participant, Ms. Bison, who just gave us a very touching remark at the moment and posed some of the important questions that I think we should be able to answer after this session. But also I would like to express my sincere appreciation and regards to the Chinese embassy, particularly Mr. Lin Roy Hoa. I'm sorry, I'm not very good at Chinese, so might be a bit of not good for his name. But however, today I would just briefly share with you about the Young Seeker, an introduction a bit. Who are we? What do we do? And why are we doing what we are doing? The Young Seeker was found in the times of crisis, in the midst of the pandemic of COVID-19 in early 2020, by Mr. Kevin Wee and Sishin, who's an active seeker from Singapore, an active ASEAN youth who believe in the dreams of mobilizing ASEAN youth together to cultivate the available opportunities that ASEAN-China region has to offer. And that's why the Young Seeker exists. In 2020, it was formed and brought to Cambodia by Mr. Lim Chai and Kedi, who's an active Cambodian youth, I would say, in the dreams and the belief that Cambodian youth have the competency and ability to work together with other fellow ASEANs, youths from other countries, be it the Singapore, be it the Thailand, be it Laos, be it Vietnam, working on common interests for better growth of our own personal competency, but also to cultivate more opportunity for our community, the kingdoms of Cambodia. So it's brought to Cambodia in late 2020. Until now, we have operated over 1 year. Over the past 1 year, we have worked with more than 21 people, I mean in the teams of the core teams of the Young Seeker, who working voluntarily, and I would thanks to my team today, who hard work and the back since making this event happen. Last year, the Seekers in Dialogue. So what is Seekers in Dialogue? So the term here is that we would like to mobilize a platform, create a platform where we're able to bring distinguished guest panelists who are the experts, leaders from business, from education, academia, or government to share on topics that are relevant to ASEAN-China region, but most importantly, relevant to us as young people. And that's why the Seekers in Dialogue exists. Last year in 2021, though I know we're all aware of the COVID-19 situation last year, all in lockdown. But however, we're able to host Seekers in Dialogue for 10 sessions, 9 was online. And today, this is our very first physical Seekers in Dialogue in 2022. Without the support from Singapore, Cambodia International Academy, we would not able to host this event today. So my sincere appreciation once again. However, a bit of Cambodia-China relation and ASEAN-China region. Earlier, we have listened to the speech by Mr. Lin Ruihua, Counselor for Cultural Affairs of the Chinese Embassy, who already emphasized many key points, backgrounds, and prospects of Cambodia-China relation as well as ASEAN-China relation. So I will not go into detail about those prospects again. But however, one important key message I want to discuss with our fellow young people here is that in the midst of the geopolitical rivalries, competition between the superpower and the regions, you may have seen the news, a lot of news, the West on one side, the East on one side, criticize Cambodia, trying to bring us into another corner. I don't know. But the key question that we as a young people should ask is that, how can we enhance our competencies and be a future leaders, a ready future leader? Because in the next 5 years, 10 years, or even 20 years, some of us here in this room, we become the leader in different capacity, be it the leaders of your any particular organization or members of the government. We will represent our interests here, domestic, and also our interests abroad. So being understand and able to cultivate the opportunity that ASEAN-China region has to offer is a key to achieve the great interest for Cambodia. So I hope today's session, we bring the experts and whom I have known closely as well, Bong Sopek, as well as Luk Hu Meng Tong, who all have been experienced studying in China, and also Sishin herself, a master degree student at Peking University. I believe that they will have a lot to offer, insight and experience. So ask them in the Q&A session as well. Prepare your question. Ask them, how do they get those opportunities? How did they equip those opportunities and be able to study in China, work in the ASEAN-China regions? So now we don't only just talking about equipping the opportunity, such as scholarship to study in China or to study in ASEAN country. One more question we should ask is that beyond Cambodia, beyond working professionally in Cambodia, can we, Cambodian youths, in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years, be able to work in other country in professional job with equal pays and equal rights as other ASEAN youths? So that's the key question. And I hope you will get it, you will learn from it, and get the motivation as well as tips to equip that. Because I myself also looking forward to that. We are young, we still have a lot to learn, but one key concept at the Young Seeker is that youth for youth. Though we're still growing, we're still learning, but we believe we have something to offer and help each other grow. At the Young Seeker, we also offer many activities such as today event discussion, but we also offer workshop, training. We are not going to trade by ourselves anyway, but we bring experts, those who have the competencies and ability to teach us, to guide us on a topic such as communication, strategic leaderships, and other key areas that are helpful for your career endeavor. So again, thank you very much for joining. It's early morning of Saturday. I believe even I myself, is not this event, I would have still sleeping on my bed. So welcome and have a wonderful discussion today. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Chai Heng, for the opening remark. And now we would like to call for a 5-minute break for our team to prepare for the stage. Thank you. For participant, you can grab any water យើងអាចទៅយកទឹកបាននៅខាងក្រៅបានសិនជាយើងឃ្លីនទឹកអី Yeah. So welcome back to the second session. Okay, so this time we will further digest into our panel discussion, and we have with our moderator. So Mr. Sinukong, she is a research co-lead at TYS Cambodia, and today she will be our moderator for the panel discussion. And we would like to welcome our honorable panelists. First, Mr. Xi Jin Lee, the co-founder of TYS, and Mr. Meng Tong Seng, a university lecturer, chief of legal officer, and legal advisor for private companies. And last, Mr. Po Sophe, a university lecturer, trainer, and research supervisor and social entrepreneur. Thank you, and please welcome to the honorable panelists and our moderator. Hello. Hello, can you hear me well? Hello, I'm sorry. So first of all, thank you to our MC for giving the floor to our panel discussion, and a very good morning to Shin. I'm sorry if I do not pronounce your name right, but can you hear us well? Hello, Shin, can you hear us well? Okay, probably her internet connection, but that's fine. So a very good morning to our panelists, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. So welcome to our session on panel discussion on the opportunities in ASEAN-China region on education and career. So I would like to restate our objective for our panel discussion in our Seekers in Dialogue. So we have three main objectives. First, we aim to bring better awareness of the existing and future opportunities that ASEAN-China region has to offer to the knowledge of the participants. Second, to encourage and equip participants with tips and connection that enable them to cultivate their desired educational and career objective within ASEAN and China region. And lastly, to create a timely dialogue and provide a platform that maps out a future that bridge Cambodia and ASEAN youth to the rest of ASEAN-China region in the spectrum of higher education and regional career. So before we start, let me introduce myself. My name is Kong Sri Nu, a research officer at the Young SEAKers of Cambodia chapter.
And here is our two panelists, including another panelist that joined us online. So before we start the question and discussion, I would like to give the floor to our panelists to introduce themselves about their background, as well as their impression toward the seekers in dialogue and our topic as a whole. So Mr. Meng Tong, you can start introduce yourself. Thank you.
Okay, a very good morning to everyone. A very good morning to Ms. Bison, Principal of SCIA. A very good morning to Mr. Lin Rui Hua, Counselor for the Cultural Affairs of the Chinese Embassy. Mr. Chai Sut, yes, Head of the Young SEAKers Cambodia. Ladies and gentlemen, the topic is very important for everyone, especially for the future of the Cambodian youth. As you could see, when ASEAN is going to have the integration soon, it's like one common goal to share everything together. But it also has pro and cons because of the distance of the each ASEAN state member. As you could see, let me give you a very specific example of the European Union. Even the European Union, they also have almost not even a distant like Asian members. Still, at the end, they have a Brexit, as you could see. So if we are not ready for that, if we do not prepare well for the upcoming integration of ASEAN, we would face the same problem. Yeah. So based on the suggestion and request from my student and participant, and also pursuant to my communication with the organizer, my apologize to to the expert participant in here, Ms. Vision, and other who couldn't speak Khmer, because I think most participants in here, they have the English level limit. So allow me to share in maybe it can say mix in English and Khmer as well. Yeah. So because especially most of my students, they a bit tough in English. Is that all right? Yeah. Okay. So let me jump straight into the topic. Yeah. So I have divided. I have also select my my experience in university, also in study at abroad, also at a workplace. So I select a few points, around 9 points for student, and also a few points for the ASEAN-China, especially between Cambodia. So let me briefly talk about the main point, and then I would jump into the detail in Khmer. So the first one is, in order to prepare well to catch the education and the career, you need to have ability first. Second is about the skill, and then talent. This one linked together. I would explain later on. For technology, this is 2020. You couldn't say that, oh, I do not study information technology, I don't know about technology. You cannot say that. Even you are, most here are law student, or you are not related to information technology. Otherwise, do not expect about the international education and international career. The fifth one is about the experience. I would detail later. 6 is about the market. 7, yeah. So briefly like this. So allow me to detail in Khmer about this one. តើតើសមត្ថភាពអូនដឹងហើយមុននឹងចាប់កន្លែងនេះយើងត្រូវគិតសមត្ថភាពមានមតិមួយចំនួនគាត់ថាមានការអត់សមត្ថភាពគាត់ពិបាកក្នុងការចាប់ឱកាសយកតែសួរថាមានសមត្ថភាពមិនអញ្ចឹងទន្ទឹមនឹងមានសមត្ថភាពត្រូវមាន skill ហ្នឹងខ្ញុំចូល talent មានសមត្ថភាពត្រូវមើលទៅតាម talent បងប្អូនខ្លះគាត់ talent ផ្សេងគាត់ចូលចិត្តគូសរូបគាត់ចូលចិត្តគណិតតែគាត់រៀនតាមគ្នាដល់ពេលរៀនតាមគ្នាអត់ត្រូវ talent គាត់អត់ត្រូវ skill គាត់អញ្ចឹងខ្ញុំតិចទៀតខ្ញុំនិយាយថា how can we transfer our talent if we chose a wrong career or chose a wrong education or degree in your university ខ្ញុំនឹងប្រាប់ថាយើង change របៀបម៉េចអញ្ចឹងរៀនមើលតាម talent ធ្វើការដូចគ្នានៅពេលដែលយើងរៀនបើ similar អត់អីណាស្រាប់តែអត់ចូលចិត្តលេខខ្លាចឈាមទៅរៀនពេទ្យអាហ្នឹងខ្មែរយើងហៅអូអាស្រ័យផ្ទះចង់អត់ខុសគ្នាអ ចឹងតែយើងអត់ដាក់ត្រូវ flow គឺពិបាកមែនតើតែបើយើងដាក់ត្រូវ flow ដូចយើងដូចទឹកហូរយើងដូចយើងរកស៊ីចឹងគឺដាក់ត្រូវមកមួយទៀត technology ខ្ញុំនិយាយ technology នេះខ្ញុំមិនមែនមានន័យថាយើងត្រូវចេះសេ data ឬមួយយើងត្រូវសរសេរ system អីខ្ញុំអត់ refer ទៅអញ្ចឹងឯងខ្ញុំ refer ថាខ្ញុំឃើញមួយចំនួនគាត់ cannot even use email technology ខ្ញុំ refer in general technology like you can use email well internet well research well អញ្ចឹងនៅពេលដែលយើងអត់ចេះ research យើងអត់ចេះប្រើប្រាស់បច្ចេកវិទ្យាខ្ញុំថាឡើយនៅក្នុង ASEAN ជាមួយ China សូម្បីតែយើងទៅ apply company ឥឡូវដូចគ្នាអត់មានរដ្ឋសវត្ថដូចមុនទេអត់មានសរសេរតួលេខសរសេរគេហៅអង់គ្លីលេខវាយអីសេដៃដូចមុនទេ everything in here telegram everything in here email everything in here សិតតែប្រើប្រាស់កុំព្យូទ័រទាំងអស់អញ្ចឹងមិនថាយើងរៀនក្នុងវិស័យណាទេត្រូវតែមានបច្ចេកវិទ្យាដូចគ្នាអញ្ចឹងកន្លែងបងអូននៅយើងស្រួលបើយើងអត់ចេះខ្ញុំគិតថានៅយើងអត់ទាន់មាន specific សកលទេហើយបើកម្រិតមួយសំរុំខ្ញុំគិតថាអាចទៅបាក់ទូករៀនធ្វើម៉េចឲ្យចេះប្រើប្រាស់ email កុំព្យូទ័រប្រើប្រាស់ internet research ឲ្យបានអញ្ចឹងពេលនោះយើងនឹងអាចយល់អំពី scholarship ហើយ scholarship អត់មានបិទกระดาษឬមួយក៏បិទតាម announcement ទេបងអូនចង់បាន scholarship ទៅ like Singapore China ចូល internet ទាំងអស់សរសេរតាក់ទងផ្សេង internet ដូចគ្នាអញ្ចឹងអានេះតាក់ទង technology ហ្នឹងគឺខ្ញុំ cover ទៅលើហ្នឹងខ្ញុំអត់ cover ថាយើងត្រូវទៅចេះ specific ទៅលើ software ឬមួយក៏អីអាហ្នឹងករណីបងប្អូនរៀននៅក្នុងកម្មវិធីផ្សេងទៀតអាហ្នឹងគាត់រៀន IT អាហ្នឹងគាត់ទៅ specific ទេតែយើងជានិស្សិតធម្មតាអត់អាចនិយាយថាខ្ញុំអត់ចេះtechnology ដោយសារខ្ញុំមិនមែននិស្សិត IT no you cannot say that សម័យនេះសម័យ Facebook តែខ្ញុំរៀងឆ្ងល់ដែរបងប្អូនមួយចំនួនខ្ញុំឃើញគាត់ប្រើ TikTok Facebook very well តែឲ្យគាត់ប្រើ email ស្មៃយើងហៅគាំងហ្មងខ្ញុំពេលខ្ញុំអត់យល់ why you don't invest your time in using Facebook and TikTok instead of do like researching or learning about technology email why ខ្ញុំសួរគាត់ចេះ TikTok they can use TikTok but I don't know how to use TikTok honestly I only know how to use Facebook like ពេលខ្លះ surprise ខ្ញុំដែរyeah you use TikTok well and Facebook well but do not know how to use email do not know how to research so why you invest in this one we call invest in a wrong direction អានឹងខ្ញុំនិយាយត្រង់ហើយបន្ទាប់មកចាប់ផ្ដើមថាអត់មានតម្លាភាពអត់មានភាពស្មើគ្នាការងារផ្ដល់ឲ្យតំណែងផ្សេងសំណួរសួរថាយើងមានសមត្ថភាពនៅពេលដែលមានឱកាសមកនេះអញ្ចឹងតិចទៀតខ្ញុំនិយាយថាធ្វើម៉េចចាប់យកឱកាសនៅកន្លែងនេះបាននៅក្នុងអាស៊ានជាមួយនឹងចិនបាន very simple ចូលតែប្រមាណចំណុចហ្នឹងខ្ញុំគិតថាយើងនឹងយល់ខ្លួនឯងអញ្ចឹងកុំ invest នៅក្នុង wrong direction Facebook ប្រើមានផលប្រយោជន៍តែបើអត់ផលប្រយោជន៍គឺយើង invest ខុសពេលចំណុចមួយទៀតតាក់ទងបទពិសោធន៍ខ្ញុំលើកទី1ខ្ញុំសូមនិយាយ everyone in here university student ខ្ញុំគិតថាគួរតែ your first job should be work in a restaurant regardless who you are should go to work as a waiter or waitress part-time or full-time for at least 6 to 1 year I want you to do that for a reason when you work that for one of like a 6 months or 1 year ពេលដែលធ្វើការរត់តុក6ទៅ1ឆ្នាំហើយគឺយើងនឹងយល់ខ្ញុំគិតថាគ្រប់គ្នាត្រូវតែធ្វើបើខ្ញុំនិយាយមែនបើខ្ញុំមាន policy ក្នុងការដាក់ចេញខ្ញុំនឹងដាក់តម្រូវឲ្យនិស្សិតទាំងអស់ទៅរត់តុករយៈពេល6ខែទៅ1ឆ្នាំក្រៅម៉ោង full time ឯងគឺរឿងគឺទៅតាមគាត់ធ្វើក្រៅពីហ្នឹងគាត់ទៅធ្វើការ intern នៅពេលដែលគាត់ធ្វើការរត់តុកហើយខ្ញុំប្រាប់ថាគាត់នឹងយល់ពីតម្លៃការងារគាត់នឹងយល់អំពីកន្លែងពិបាករត់ហើយខ្ញុំអត់ចង់រត់កន្លែងស្រួលណាអត់ទៅដល់ឈរលេងចង់ឲ្យទៅរត់កន្លែងមួយ very busy ត្រូវមកអីហិតទៅច្រើនអាហ្នឹងខ្ញុំនិយាយត្រង់ឲ្យគេស្ដីឲ្យមកព្រោះដោយសារពីជាក់ស្ដែងនៅពេលដែលយើងអត់ទម្លាប់លុតដំចិត្តលុតដំរាងកាយអត់ទម្លាប់ពិបាកយើងពិបាកធ្វើអីអញ្ចឹងបើខ្ញុំមានបងប្អូនខ្ញុំសួរបញ្ជូនទៅរត់តុកសិនការងារទី1នៅក្នុងឆ្នាំទី1ទៅរៀនហើយមិនបាច់គិតរឿងប្រាក់ខែមកហូបបានមួយឆ្នាំយល់ពីការងារពិបាកក្នុងអំឡុងពេលហ្នឹងអាចរៀនអាចទៅធ្វើ intern ហើយ intern ហ្នឹងគុំទៅចង់បានលុយសុំគេធ្វើទៅរហូតដល់ពេលខ្លះបើសិនជាកន្លែងល្អខ្ញុំថាឲ្យលុយគេវិញក៏បានទៅធ្វើឲ្យបានមួយឆ្នាំ2ឆ្នាំទៅ experience ហ្នឹងមិនមែនបងប្អូនខ្លះគាត់ចង់បានការងារល្អទាំងអត់ទាន់បានទៅតាមខ្លួនឯងអញ្ចឹងកន្លែង experience ហ្នឹងខ្ញុំចង់និយាយថាទៅធ្វើការកន្លែងមួយយើងនៅក្មេងអញ្ចឹងទៅធ្វើការ explore internship ហើយទៅធ្វើការក្រៅហើយយើងនឹងយល់ពីការលំបាករបស់យើងអញ្ចឹងយើងនឹងមាន experience នៅក្នុងបទពិសោធន៍ជីវិតពេលដែលយើងចេញទៅក្រៅយើងអាចតាមតនគេបងប្អូនខ្លះទៅដល់ក្រៅបាត់អត់តនដោយសារអត់ធ្លាប់ពិបាកអញ្ចឹងអារឿងទៅក្រៅហ្នឹងខ្ញុំនឹង share ពេលក្រោយទៀតត្រូវ prepare យ៉ាងម៉េច market ខ្ញុំសុំ2ចំណុចទៀត yeah could be fine market មើល market ចង់ទៅធ្វើការនៅ Singapore you need to check the market what Singapore need you cannot apply like to be a doctor while Singapore has so many doctors and then you say oh it's very difficult to find a job in Singapore no you cannot in China as well you have to check the market we at coffee at check market it's raining it's not raining season it's a hot season in Africa and you operate a company to sell a raincoat លក់អាវភ្លៀងនៅក្រុមហ៊ុនអាហ្វ្រិកអត់កន្លែងភ្លៀង while there is no any rain it's a wrong risk somebody said oh I also risk why I didn't get a result you have to check your risk as well okay so the market is very important even in Cambodia in Asian state in China you need to check it very well whether what they have you cannot just they are overwhelming with accountant with a lawyer with a doctor and then you go to apply them no so many countries they have different market they need a different expert yeah market last one is about the change I link to my ability and talent how you can change your career if you choose a wrong one example you study law because of your maybe following your friend or your parent pressure you because mostly in here it's like this similar study a law you can change your career to human resource to management to similar course like this that you want to be but you cannot change to be a doctor or to maybe engineer if you have a passion on that you could do not think that you are too late I tell you one you know KFC I think everyone nhâm KFC គ្រប់គ្នាទេ KFC fell 1009 times and at the end the founder of KFC succeed at 79 years old ជោគជ័យនៅអាយុ79ឆ្នាំ fell so many times អញ្ចឹង it doesn't mean that យើងជោគជ័យ we are succeed at 25 and you are forever succeed no you can see many people they are succeed at young age but they fell at age like 30 50 so do not think that oh I choose the wrong career I give up no never late you can see KFC check ma as well check ma reject everyone reject check ma but at the end check ma achieve it now even check ma លក់ train ខ្ញុំឃើញ Facebook ហើយមក sell a durian many people just buy his durian evenអញ្ចឹង do not think that oh I choose the wrong career I am now 30 years old I am now 40 no never late and do not think that oh I'm 30 years old I have a lot of money I'm successful no if you do not pay attention if you stop working hard you will lose everything this generation you could see many people in society I do not want to mention specific name they succeed I mean at like ជោគជ័យនៅអាយុ30ពេលនៅអាយុ50 40អស់អាលីង corrupt I mean bankrupt everything so do not think about you are late to change you're not late and this one it's need to have a specific lecturer for every section of how you could change your talent your career here and I still have 2 points for this one but I think it's time for me I would like to pass to Miss moderator thank you
Hello, so I'm sorry, too many technical errors. So thank you, Mr. Minh Tong, for your insightful information about the topic. Now I would like to invite Mr. Sopet to share about a little bit of brief introduction and your impression toward the event. Thank you.
Okay. Hello. Yes. Right. So very good morning to everyone, and thank you for your presence here. Thank you to our beautiful principal for sharing the inspiring opening remarks here as well. And I also want to thank the Young Seeker for giving the opportunity as a platform for me to share my experience and knowledge regarding the China's and ASEAN cooperation, particularly in the fields of education. I believe that this is going to be helpful, especially with the integrations of ASEAN as well as the partnership with China. More and more opportunities are widely available to young people. So this is the platform for everyone to get the informations as well as to be ready for obtaining these opportunities. So just a brief introduction about me, and I'm sure you have seen the informations on this slide. So my name is Supair, and I'm currently working on my own startup, which aims to support education in Cambodia, particularly in the quick transformations of digitalizations. Aside from that, I have been working as a university lecturer for the past 9 years. At the university, I'm also serving as the teacher trainer and also the research supervisors as well. Another position that I'm holding at the moment is the president of the Erasmus Alumni Association of Cambodia, because I have been awarded the scholarship from the European Union to pursue my master degree in Europe. So I have returned and then assumed the positions as the president of the associations. And today I have a great delight to be able to share with you my knowledge regarding the China's and ASEAN's cooperations, because I have also spent an academic semester as well in China at Beijing Normal University, where I pursue a part of my master degree over there. So if you have any question later on regarding the study there at Beijing Normal University or overall the study in China, I will be really pleased to share with you. Thank you very much.
So thank you, Bong. Now we move to Miss Shishin. Miss Shishin, can you hear me well?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so can you please tell us about yourself and your impression toward our seekers in dialogue?
Yeah, so hi everyone, my name is Zixin. I hold a Bachelor's of Arts from University of Pennsylvania and a Master's in Finance from Peking University. So I studied in Beida for 2 years under the Chinese government scholarship. So if any of you are interested in studying in China and also applying for that scholarship, I'll be happy to share more information during today's session. I then worked for a little while in a gap year investment analyst role at an early stage venture capital fund in China. So this is a China fund with mostly Chinese money trying to invest into Southeast Asia. And that was a very, very exciting year in 2019, where the amount of Chinese investments into Southeast Asia's tech scene went up by just like 8 times, you know. So that was when I found that, you know, my knowledge of Southeast Asia, as well as my experience in studying in China actually came into play. And I was a very employable / like, you know, a good candidate for that internship opportunity. So I just wanted to also share a little bit about as an ASEAN youth, how you can capitalize on several internship and career opportunities in China through today's session. Last of all, of course, I co-founded the Young SEAKers back in April 2020. It's a non-profit organization headquartered in Singapore. I'm very happy to attend TYS Cambodia chapter's event today. We also have 9 other chapters across the rest of Southeast Asia, as well as a chapter in China. So we currently have about 480 members and a leadership team of about 160 youths across Southeast Asia. So this is something that I really am very glad to have started. And these resources and networks hopefully can help young people like yourselves become more ASEAN and China savvy so that you can capitalize on the opportunities in our regions moving forward. Yeah, thank you. Back to you, moderator.
Thank you, Miss Shishin. So now we move to our first question. So the first question will direct to Miss Shishin. So I heard you mention that there are opportunities from the ASEAN and China as a whole. So can you share us a bit of your perspective or your general overview about the opportunities that ASEAN youth can gain from the ASEAN-China cooperation?
Yeah, definitely. Last year marks 3 decades of ASEAN-China dialogue relations, right? And ever since we started dialogue relations, we have now become each other's largest trading partner. ASEAN surpassed the European Union to become China's largest trading partner in 2020. So looking ahead, I think there definitely will be closer economic integration between ASEAN and China, especially with a fast-growing digital economy and an expanding middle class. So the reason why China was so interested in Southeast Asia is because we have a young and growing population, a rising middle class, and very right. So I mentioned earlier that their investment into Southeast Asia's technology startup ecosystem went up by more than 8 times in 2019, and that really paid off last year, right? Just last year, our Southeast Asia region delivered 25 unicorns. Yeah, and so just imagine like the kind of investment return. And ASEAN can also these economic ties, because what happened, I mean, I see this in my line of work as a venture capitalist, is that when you have a Chinese investor on your cap table, they share a little bit about the journey that China went through, the different business models for e-commerce, for logistics, you name it, right? That's actually now playing out within Southeast Asia as our middle class rises. So I think there's a lot of prospects for ASEAN-China cooperation, and especially young people can benefit from this fast-growing digital economy on both sides. Yeah.
So thank you, Ms. Xixin. So let's get back to Mr. Ming Tong. So I heard you mentioned about the education skills and ability of youth in ASEAN. So to you, in terms of educational spectrum, how can you see ASEAN youth can benefit from the ASEAN and China cooperation in terms of educational system?
Thank you very much for your question, yes, it's very important. I mean, I can say China and Asian cooperation is very important for us, and also can say a big opportunity for everyone to understand and to catch. Like I said, recap from beginning, it's provide not only the education and also other sector, but allow me to recap only on that. Especially the first one is about the education, about the scholarship. Of course, you will get scholarship. I wish to raise about the good point of the Chinese education system. Is about the first one is about the discipline. We can say I go to China, it's very disciplined. People without discipline, it's very tough for their future, especially for children. China treats children very well. They study long hours at school, and the discipline and also the education. Unlike some country, I can say it's very developed. So the student, in some country, you do not dare to touch the student. If you touch, probably you get problem. Also, you cannot try to direct them. Yeah. So also in university student as well. That's why when they grow up, they face problem. You can see it's similar to Asian culture as well. So China and Asian, we have similar culture, similar history. Also, we are in the same region. So what I really appreciate and respect is about discipline. Vinay. អញ្ចឹងបងអូនត្រូវគិតថាមនុស្សដែលអត់មានវិន័យគឺនឹងពិបាកនៅអនាគតគ្រប់គ្នាត្រូវតែមានវិន័យហើយវិន័យមិនមែនមានន័យថាចូលធំលុតដំទេគឺត្រូវតែពីក្មេងយកធ្វើការកែបានតែយើងបដ ாய் គាត់ចូលដល់8 10ហើយក្នុងការប្របាក់ហើយបើយើងពុតគាត់បានត្រឹម18ខ្ញុំជឿថាពួកគ្នាគឺមានអញ្ចឹងមុននឹងចាប់ឱកាសទាំងអស់គឺផ្ដល់ការងារ You want to work in China, you want to work in Singapore, you want to work in Malaysia, you need to make sure yourself. The integration of this thing, it also have pros and cons. មានគុណសម្បត្តិនិងគុណវិបត្តិ Like I said, Brexit, do not forget, Brexit provide a lot of, everyone in EU member can work in England, can work in France, can work, but the British people feel that they get, the job gets stolen. អញ្ចឹងនៅពេលដែលយើងចូលមកសួរថាយើងត្រៀមបានពេលខ្លះ some country they said, oh, like you see, Brexit is a real example of us. That's why Asian also concerned about this one. អញ្ចឹងit provide job to you. You can soon បងប្អូនទាំងអស់គ្នាអាចទៅធ្វើការនៅម៉ាឡេក៏បានថៃក៏បានសិង្ហបុរីក៏បានខាងនោះក៏ចូលមកធ្វើការដូចយើងដូចគ្នាកុំគិតថាយើងទៅធ្វើការគេបានគេចូលមកអត់បានគេចូលមកបានអញ្ចឹងបើយើងអត់រៀបខ្លួនច្បាស់លាស់សួរថាពេលដែលឱកាសការងារមកយើងយកបានហើយ very simple. You want to get education, you want to get scholarship, you want to get a job in ASEAN and China, prepare your ability, your talent, technology, experience. Actually, 3 points to recap: ability, technology, and experience. You have these 3 things, not just in Asia. You can go to work at EU as well. You can go to work in Australia as well. អញ្ចឹងសួរថាត្រូវតែរៀបចំកន្លែងហ្នឹងមានកន្លែងហ្នឹងជាពិសេស technology. We work in also one more important, I forgot, it's about the language. ខ្ញុំសូមឲ្យរើសតែមួយបានជាយោបល់ខ្ញុំ choose only one language, whether Chinese or English. Do not choose 2. I did 2. If you choose 2, it will be difficult. English and Chinese are amazing. Whatever you have, but need to be professional and academic. Do not know how to speak 4 language, but cannot use it professionally or properly. I do not want that. And then you come to complain, hey, I can speak 3 languages: Chinese, English, Japanese, Korean. But can you write well? Can you speak well? I can speak a little bit. I do not want this one. Do not waste your time, invest a lot of things. You can study 2 degrees, maybe Bachelor of Law or International Relations of 2 degrees, that is fine, but do not use 2 languages. Cambodian is fine, Chinese or English, desire you. Because when you do not use any language, it's a bit hard. Because if in fact it's in the family, you live with the Chinese parents, you live with the Chinese friend, it's fine. You speak it every day, even English as well. If you don't use, you forget it. To be honest, choose only 1. Do not choose 2. But if you have ability, you could do it. But I already have experience on this one. I can speak Chinese as well. But I said Chinese and English, they are all amazing. Because soon, especially in region, soon, a lot of, more and more Chinese investor in Asia, and they also benefit to the sake of Asia. Also, I very appreciate that Chinese government, they provide a lot of scholarship to us because we are similar, we are developed. Some, unlike in developed country, it's a bit tough to utilize their policy because they are so developed. So China and Asian, we are on the same stage, the same history, the same culture here. So I recap again, do not waste your time, choose only 1 language. You could choose your skill, 2 or maybe 2 or 3 skill, maybe accounting, finance, that's fine. But don't utilize, if you do not help someone who work or speak with, otherwise you will waste your time. I can see, I have my student here, they study 2 languages. Even some students, they study 3 languages. It sounds impressive, it sounds incredible, it sounds amazing. But at the end, you will be regretful. Yeah, thank you.
So thank you, Mr. Meng Tong. So you provided the insight on the scholarship opportunities and jobs. So the next question will be directed to Mr. Sophet. So since you are the founder of the alumnus of Beijing Normal University, so I bet you might have many information on the scholarship opportunities for youth and young people. So what are the scholarship opportunities from ASEAN and China that youth can get? And can you also tell us briefly on how can young people cultivate those available opportunities?
Right. Okay, thank you very much for the question from our moderator. Sorry. So basically, let me just talk a bit about the integration first. We know that ASEAN's integration actually aims to boost the economic growth within the region. So the flow of people, especially the skills people among the within the region would be a good thing because it really contributes a lot to economic growth. And now China is also a partner in that as well. So what we actually can see is that China has also provided a lot of educational program, such as the exchange program, as well as a scholarship to ASEAN member countries as well. In my case, basically, when I studied in Beijing Normal University, that was a part of my master degree program. It was actually a program by the European Union. But then I had to spend 1 semester over there in China in order to pursue my study. So we can see that even the international scholarship now integrate ASEAN countries as well. And China has also become an important place for international students to pursue their study. With regard to the opportunities for students in ASEAN, I think the counselor already mentioned in the opening remark that the higher education exchange cooperation, which is one of the important tools in China's ASEAN strategic partner, actually support this a lot. One program that I can share with you is the Chinese government scholarship, which has been offered to students in Southeast Asian nations, and basically in Cambodia as well. We have received a lot. You can also check and prepare yourself for this scholarship, which allow you to pursue your study, your graduate study in China. In addition, they have also launched a program as well called the ASEAN-China Young Leaders Scholarship. So you can also go to Google and then search that. That is called ASEAN-China Young Leaders Scholarship, which also provide the opportunity for students to pursue their master and also doctoral degree. Aside from the scholarship, if you want to study in China, you can also look for the scholarship provided directly by the university there. So make sure that you can use the information available on the internet, especially from those higher education institutions in China to pursue your study over there. So you can target not only the undergraduate study, but also your master, doctoral, and also exchange programs as well. Because now we can see that more and more universities in China are offering exchange program, which means the student will get to spend their semester there in China, either a 1 or 2 semester over there. So it's a great opportunity for you to learn new things, especially in terms of the culture, and get the knowledge which may not be available in your university or in the country you are doing right now. Yep, thank you.
Thank you, Bong. So besides China, at the moment we have heard a lot of scholarship opportunity. For example, like the ASEAN-China Leadership Scholarship or exchange program from China. So my question may be directed to Bong Mintong. So aside from China, do you think ASEAN countries have any scholarship opportunities that our young people or youth in ASEAN can look up to?
Thank you for the question. Allow me to recap a little bit more. To get a scholarship well, you are, especially for the fresh graduate of a student, a university student, I have three things. One is about the workshop, what you are doing right now. Go to whatever you see on the internet posted related to education about the workshop, just go attend. Do not, go to other places like cinemas. What you are doing now is devoting your Saturday, but you are planning for your future. Very simple. Use Facebook and TikTok. They have the useful of it. But if you do not know how to use it well, you face problem. So a lot of event, which workshop, even which like this, that on scholarship, that on IDP, តាក់ទង Young Seeker តាក់ទង even ចាស់ទៅទោះបីជាស្ដាប់គាត់អត់បានយូរទៅស្ដាប់បានអញ្ចឹងគាត់នឹងប្រាប់ពីបទពិសោធន៍គាត់នឹងប្រាប់ពីនេះ you gain knowledge so spend your Saturday so we have one quote like you want to work hard from here until 30 years old and then you can play you can I mean ខ្មែរយើងនិយាយថាធ្វើការបាក់ដល់អាយុ30ចុងក្រោយស្រួលឬមួយក៏ចង់ស្រួលបដាធ្វើការបដាបបាក់បដាដល់មួយជីវិតអញ្ចឹងយើង choose ទៅពីណាហើយ everyone in here មកដល់ can say final step ហើយមកដល់ឥឡូវនេះគឺអានឹងខ្ញុំនិយាយកំ pl ែងសវ័យចេញពី COVID មកមិនធម្មតាមួយទៀតមកដល់នេះអស់ហើយរៀនទី12ចប់ bachelor job your next job is to get your best career so you are in the final step already but some people they គាត់លះបង់គាត់ fail គាត់តែពិតគាត់មកដល់ទីបញ្ចប់ហើយគាត់ឈានមកដល់ final only one more step ស្រួលមកជីវិតតែអានឹងជាការជ្រើសរបស់យើងអ្នកខ្លះគាត់មកដល់ហ្នឹងគាត់លះបង់គាត់ពិបាកតាំងពីណាតាមពិតពិបាកតាំងពីទី11ទី12គាត់ពិបាកមកដល់នេះស្រួលអញ្ចឹងទៅរក workshop មើលក្នុង Facebook ចូល like page របស់ education គុំ like អារឿង K-pop អីហ្នឹងវាអត់ចំណេញទេវាអត់មានចំណេញទេវា relax ដែរមិនមែនខ្ញុំឲ្យនិយាយថារៀនហ្នឹងអត់មាន relax ទេអញ្ចឹងចូលអាហ្នឹងទី2 intern ទៅរក intern like intern with the Young Seeker Chinese embassy Singaporean embassy maybe SCIA they looking for intern do not think about money some people they come how much money I do not understand why អញ្ចឹងពេល intern ខ្ញុំ sometimes if I were you if I have a good chance to intern in the Young Seeker or maybe SCIA or in Chinese embassy I would say oh I would not need any money I would utilize my own resource but what they provide you at the end យើងចំណេញអញ្ចឹង intern ហ្នឹងតែ intern កន្លែងត្រូវកុំតែ intern នៅកន្លែងផ្សេងតែ intern ខុសកន្លែងដូចគ្នាទេអញ្ចឹង intern ហ្នឹងគាត់នឹងប្រាប់ឯនេះ share knowledge and start from now បងប្អូនខ្លះរៀន what one scholarship next year they do not start from now they start before 1 month only how can it's like you take an exam do not care anything but the exam next month do not study anything but only 2 days before I can see post on Facebook oh I study very hard I cannot sleep but what are you doing before that you want scholarship you want good job in Asia in China start from now also the language focus only one language I repeat and repeat about this one so you need to the language in Google, they have Chinese and English language at the same time. If you do not know the English, you do not know Chinese and English, how can you go to search? Yeah, because like I say, in here, the announcement, it does not post on the poster. It posts everything on internet. You need to know how to use the internet. It cannot just come here, give you the envelope at your home. Knock, hey, I give you the scholarship. No, you go to find by yourself, okay? And regarding into the question មានឱកាសច្រើនដែលយើងអាចទៅធ្វើបាន you need to understand in Asian also especially in Singapore has so many also in China has so many opportunity for us if I'm not wrong a lot of expat work expat employee work in Singapore yeah. So you need to check the market as well like I repeat do not go to Singapore and then while the Singapore is full of accountant. It's just I give an example. And you come back. The Singapore is not free like you said. And then I go to the Google, the accountant. There are too many accountants. You need to check the market. So go to each country. You need to check. So you have this ability. You can get a job in Asia. Yeah, in Asian. Also in Singapore, in Malaysia, in Indonesia. You know Chinese. Or English, you can get because I think a lot of Chinese, not only in Cambodia, Chinese investor, they have a lot of in Singapore as well. Yeah. So you have this thing, you can get a job, get a scholarship to them. Yeah. Like again, just do not think about the money. Some people they okay with year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, I want to earn money. But after that, you have no any experience, you have no any skill. អាចរលុយបានឆ្នាំទី1ទី2ទី3 1 month maybe $200 okay fine so everything need to devote you if you do not devote yourself you devote your youth life it's a bit hard. Like you are doing right now is good. Saturday, I believe some people they go to other place, but you are doing. But you are planning for your future, right? មកដល់ពេលនេះខ្ញុំក៏អត់ទាន់ទៅបានដើរលេងដែរ I'm 29 ខ្ញុំ29ឆ្នាំប៉ុន្តែខ្ញុំធ្វើការខ្ញុំរៀនរហូតព្រោះខ្ញុំចង់ហើយពេលដែលយើងចូលទៅដល់ហ្នឹងយើងនឹងរបៀបលក្ខណៈ enjoy មកអត់មានបាក់ដំបងរៀនពិបាកអញ្ចឹងសៅរ៍អាទិត្យយើងមិនមែនអត់ relax ទេរកកន្លែងអញ្ចឹងឈិតឆាតហើយទៅកន្លែង education ហើយខ្ញុំបើជាខ្ញុំដូចខ្ញុំ recap intern មក intern កន្លែងណាក៏បាន you go to intern everywhere ទៅចឹងបានហើយរកពេលសៅរ៍អាទិត្យទៅរត់តុកឲ្យបានមួយឆ្នាំឲ្យខ្ញុំមកចង់នឹងឲ្យបានមួយឆ្នាំ especially you want to study abroad you need to know how to make coffee if you want to earn money at abroad I tell you what or you know how to do as a waiter you will earn money otherwise you go to there you need to spend money to make a coffee I tell you the true one I did a mistake that I didn't know how to do everything but when I went to Australia coffee maker can earn a lot of money and it's also it's suitable with your with your study while you study at abroad. So work as a waiter, intern, attend the workshop, what you are doing university. Do not think about the money, okay? After 4 years, you will calculate. Like I see, like give me another example. For 4 years, you are a student. If you work, maybe you get I can say $20,000. Let me say that. But after that, you still get the same. But if you do well 4 years, លះបង់4ឆ្នាំ you do not get 20k អត់បាន20,000ទេអត់បាន20,000ទេក្នុង4ឆ្នាំហ្នឹងប៉ុន្តែពេលចប់បានក្នុងរយៈពេល1ឆ្នាំ you may earn only 1 year you may earn more than 20k it's like you prepare it well រៀបចំខ្លួនហើយវាចង់និយាយថាមកនេះគេដើរដល់1ឆ្នាំយើងដើរដល់1ឆ្នាំរួចលុយហ្នឹង so it's the same 4 years you may earn 20k but after 4 years you still earn the same but if you devote your 4 years after your 5th year maybe only your 5th year 1 year you can earn back the whole and then maybe the 6 or 7 years later you double increase and increase so it's like you help it's like ខ្មែរយើងគេថាទៅម្ដងចាំគ្រប់សំណុំyou are fully equipped and then you hit one time you get achieve it អញ្ចឹងគិតខ្លួនឯងថាចង់បានលុយក្នុងរយៈពេលហ្នឹងឬមួយក៏ចង់បានក្នុងរយៈពេលមួយដែលខ្លីអត់ប្រហែល 4-5 ឆ្នាំអត់បានលុយទេប៉ុន្តែឆ្នាំទី6ទី7លើសអាលុយដែលយើងនឹងបានទៀតហើយទៅរហូតហើយ if you are not prepared well the same one every year you still earn 4 year 20k 4 year 20k nothing yeah so prepare well at the end when you graduated your 5th year can get the whole of your 20k and the 6 year 7 year you increase very rapidly so this is what you can do.
Thank you Bong so I bet you get many insights from him so you see the importance of joining workshop you see the importance of doing intern and the internet so I like to direct the next question to Miss Shishin so you mentioned about the economic integration in ASEAN and China and so on so to your perspective how do you see the current development is like for regional exchanges on education and career
Yeah, thanks for that question. So I think there's a lot of complementarity between ASEAN and China's economies. Number one, China is aging very fast, okay? And its labor force is becoming more older, more educated, and more skilled. But on the other end, ASEAN has a very young population and workforce. Its growing middle class is a sizable market. That's why there's a lot of interest from Chinese investors and companies to come to Southeast Asia. So there's great potential for both parties to leverage the complementary demographics of our markets and our production. So if we look at what the current developments are in terms of educational exchange and opportunities, there are ASEAN University Network scholarships that 30 each year called China AUN scholarships to provide opportunities for ASEAN students to further their study in China. It has been ongoing since 2008. And the acceptance rate, I would say, is quite high. I think in 2019, they had 300 applicants and they took 30 applicants. Yeah. So the other one which I went on was the Chinese government scholarship. This one is actually quite a lengthy application process. So to share with you, I had to take the HSK6. So for those of you learning the Chinese language, you need to show that your grasp of the Chinese language is high enough in order to be able to understand the teachers in the Chinese classroom. So after you take your HSK6, you also need to submit your grades. Typically, you hope that your grades is in the top 15 to 10% of your cohort, whether it's in high school or university if you're applying for graduate programs, especially if you want to get into top universities like Beijing Daxue or Tsinghua or Renta or Fudan. So after when you apply for the scholarship, it will simultaneously apply to the Chinese university. So you get to select your university in the application. Then you need to have a recommendation letter. So if you have any professor or any past internship supervisor that really sees your potential, your academic ability, your leadership qualities, ask them to write you a very, very strong recommendation letter. So these are my advice in order to land a scholarship to study in China. But of course, as Bong mentioned just now, and I think the other speaker as well, that there are a lot of opportunities to study in Singapore on ASEAN scholarships. So every year we have this undergraduate ASEAN scholarship whereby any member of ASEAN country can come. Same kind of requirements, right? Strong leadership qualities and potential, good co-curricular activities records, outstanding high school results, and then you apply for a full-time undergraduate degree at NUS, NTU. And the benefits are actually quite a lot. They will pay all your tuition fees. They'll give you $5,800 annual living allowance. They'll give you a computer allowance as well. And I think I have seen so many ASEAN scholars in Singapore, right? And some of them join the Young Seekers, but I don't see enough Cambodian students. Yeah, so I highly encourage you guys to apply. For those who are already studying in undergrad, right, fret not, there are also graduate scholarships. So you can come here to study your master's. So for that, there are 40 each year, ASEAN graduate scholarships that is offered by the National University of Singapore. So there's no bond or obligation, right, for you to work in Singapore after you're done. Yeah, so this is another area that I think currently scholarships is the biggest and most well-developed part about regional exchange in education. For internships, right, actually it's a bit harder. I know that, whatever's happening in China now, especially with the lockdown of Shanghai and, difficulty for foreigners to enter, it's actually very difficult to secure any internship experiences in China. But when I was there before COVID, right, it's actually quite easy to land an internship visa if you are already enrolled in a Chinese institution. So my job was basically working in a venture capital fund whereby they were trying to invest in Southeast Asia because they believe in our economic potential, right? And maybe just to respectfully disagree with Bong Bentong, I actually think that learning both English and Chinese is very, very helpful for me. So when I was investing with the Chinese VC fund, we were talking to a lot of Southeast Asian founders, right? So for myself, because I'm in Singapore, I learned English as a first language. So I learned 2 other languages. One of them, Chinese, is my mother tongue. And the other one is Bahasa Melayu, so Malay. So I'm able to talk to Malaysians and Indonesians. And Indonesia especially, right, because that's the largest market in Southeast Asia. So my value add to my internship company is that I can speak to the founders that they are interested in investing in a mix of Malay and English, right, which my boss, who is Chinese, cannot do. And then afterwards, when I return to office, I'm able to write the investment memo and my notes from my meeting in Chinese, in a language that my boss can understand. So because of that very unique advantage, I was able to land this internship, which was quite prestigious. And I think in a sense that language is always a hard asset for yourself. Like the more you have, I think is better. Of course, you don't learn it in a halfway kind of way. You're not committed. In the end, you said you learn the language, but you can't apply it professionally. Then of course that is not encouraged. And I think the actually best way to learn a language, right, is to be immersed in the language environment. For myself, you may think like, oh, Singaporeans, quite a big part of the population is Chinese. Their Chinese must be very good, but actually not very true, right? When I went to Beta and I had to do advanced microeconomics in Chinese, I had to write my thesis in Chinese. It was a struggle. Like it's truly a struggle because there's a lot of technical terms and finance terms. And in my internship later, where I had to present in Chinese, all this became very useful, right? Because I was very used to it in the classroom. I use it to write my assignments. And therefore, when it comes to the workplace, my use of business Chinese was good. So the immersion in the country can never be discounted. I always believe that when you are young, when your brain can absorb a lot of things, it's the best time to immerse yourself in a foreign country because you are in that language environment, your friends are talking that language, and you will be able to, even though at the start it will be a bit tough for you, you'll be able to slowly get, immersed and talk in that language more, such that you'll build your competency and it sticks with you. So it becomes like swimming, right? Once you throw in the pool and then you can learn how to swim, you can throw you anywhere, the lake, the sea or whatever, you can still be able to swim. I think once you get a hang of a language, it's very hard to lose it. Yeah, so I would say I encourage you guys to learn as many languages as possible. And because I myself have benefited personally in terms of my career options and internship options in China because of this. Yeah. Thanks. Sorry, that was quite a long-winded answer.
Yes, that's fine, Sishin. So, with a bit of follow-up question, with this current development on digital exchanges, so to your idea, to your perspective, do you think there is possibility for countries or youth in ASEAN countries to work in other, for example, like if I'm Cambodia, is there a possibility that I can work in Thailand or Vietnam or in Singapore with equal paid and equal working hours?
Yeah, so I think I have seen several ASEAN scholars who come to Singapore and study here, right? Whether it be in National University of Singapore or NTU. Some of them go to private universities, some of them are on ASEAN scholarship, but they tend to study subjects that are in demand in the market, to Bong Meng Tong's point, which is very true. So these are things like engineering, data science, computer science, and these are skills that are lacking, like at least within our own Singapore youth population. So you will see a lot of other ASEAN countries, students and scholars coming to Singapore and very easily, successfully landing a job after they complete their degree with some of our companies here. And because Singapore is a bit of like a hub where the headquarters of a lot of companies, APAC or Southeast Asia office is in Singapore, you're able to land jobs at a higher pay than the rest of the region, right? Where it's a country office. So in Singapore, it's more in terms of the headquarter position. So not only your pay is higher, your progression route is also further. You can go further. There are more positions that you can progress upwards towards. So actually, that is something that I realized, and I guess I recognize that as a privilege of being born and raised here, right? That there are a lot of opportunities here. And so I definitely encourage for other ASEAN students who are trying to explore and venture abroad to try to come to Singapore. The other place you can go to, of course, is China. It's a huge market. I think the downside to that is they have a lot of very talented, hardworking people as well. I never knew what hard work was, right? Until I went to study in Peita, because the students will be studying at like, I don't know, 12 p.m. midnight in their Singtaiyang Zhongxing, like this student center. And they'll be working very hard. And every internship opportunity, when we go for group interviews, right, I can sense how much the Chinese student want this. So as an ASEAN student, you're up against very, very high quality students, good academic track record, very hardworking, right? Even for me, I felt that I managed to clinch some of the good internships because I had certain skills that the Chinese students didn't have. For example, I know Malay, right? And my English is better. So for yourself, you need to think about where your value add is to the Chinese company, and then be able to then tap on the internship opportunities within China. And now you can't really do it because the borders are not open. But the easiest way for you to land an internship opportunity in China is to be studying there first. And then afterwards, it'll be so easy to get an internship visa. If you just want to work there without studying there, is hard. I can tell you it's hard. Yeah, because I have friends who tried to do that before.
Okay, sorry, I have the urge to add on something because what Zixing has mentioned, triggered my memory when I had a teacher exchange in Chengdu and I went to Chengdu Shifan Daxue. Okay, so that's one of the bigger and well-known university in China. So when I went into the theater, okay, like this, and it was filled with students, and I introduced myself and I asked the first question, and I was shocked. I had a culture shock as a teacher for more than 15 years. Immediately, the whole theater had students raise their hand up high and straight immediately to answer my question. That shows how hungry the students are in terms of wanting to showcase their ability to answer me, to want to converse with me as a foreigner, to want to know my perspective. Okay, and it's intimidating for me even as a teacher, because in Singapore sometimes all the students keep quiet. It's as though I'm talking to the lizard or the ants. I always joke with them. But in China, the attitude to seize. So when I mentioned about seizing the opportunity, it's not just about sitting there and wait for opportunities to come to you. It's seizing it. And how is seizing it? It boils down to your attitude. The kind of opportunity that you see, the opportunity to display yourself, to showcase, to share and to learn, the attitude and willingness, the growth mindset. So you are up against a lot of people who are very hungry, okay? And you must have that gumption to push forward and say, I need to get out of my comfort zone. Even though I cannot speak English that sounds like the Americans of the UK, so be it. As long as I can communicate, people on the other side can decode what I say, right? And I can understand perfectly without error. Then I think communication is therefore effective, okay? So there's a lot of things. I mean, some people will say, okay, Singlish lah, Singlish doesn't sound good lah, they always play up on that lah, right? But truthfully, if you hear Zixing and myself talk, we code switch. In terms of formal occasion, we will speak proper English. But when it comes to casual and informal, then of course we will be very casual with you, all right? And of course, the different languages, it does help. I try to learn Khmer, but it's very, very difficult to learn. Okay, I always mispronounce it and I fear using the word in the bad sense. So I'm quite fearful sometimes. Yeah, but really, I need to urge you, okay, the new generation of TikTokers and influencers means that there's also a gap of people who are leaving the space out there to work in the real organizations. They rather remain at home to be influencers. So there is an opportunity for you to go out there and to seek out MNCs, okay, and to work in and to learn from. Okay, while your friends are at home doing the TikTok, okay, you are out there getting real skills. All right, but with hard skills, there's also a need for soft skills. So try to talk to as many people as possible to learn from them. All right, thank you. Sorry, I had to add.
So thank you, Mission. So due to time constraint, we'll have one last question to Bong Phe. So I think you also mentioned about the ASEAN integration, and like what Shishin said, it seems that market is very competitive. So to you, I think Mission also mentioned something to us like being hungry for the scholarship or for the opportunities. So to you, how should Cambodian youth be prepared for the future of ASEAN-China region? Like what skill they should obtain in order to get the opportunity in the region?
All right, thank you. All right, so thank you very much for the questions. I think let me just go to the fundamental idea of going out of Cambodia and then obtaining education or career abroad. So I myself have been an exchange student for several times. I have exposed to different culture, and I want to let everyone know that you should be able to go out of the country and then learn something new, because there are always many things new there for you to learn in terms of culture, communications, career perspective, and stuff. So I encourage everyone to take the opportunity, to seize the opportunities, and then to learn something new. So basically, when we talk about your prospective career and education, I want to invite everyone to think about, expanding your educations by integrating your study abroad, especially in any ASEAN country or in China, because you will be able to learn something new over there, and at the same time, you can increase the quality of your skills and your knowledge as well. I think for some of us, maybe during my generation in the past, the information on the scholarship to study in any other country, foreign countries, may have been a bit more limited. But nowadays, this information is available. So I want everyone to get ready for that one, search for the information on the scholarship, exchange study programs, etc., to study in any country. It doesn't matter whether it is in ASEAN countries or it can be in China, but you take that chance to learn something new. I would say that you also need to question yourself and inspire yourself why you want these opportunities as well. In addition to that, you should be able to build strong network with the people who have received or who have been granted these scholarships before. So that is the things that can inspire you to go on and prepare yourself for the education and career. In terms of career perspective, I would say that if you want to be competitive and to obtain job opportunities, not just in Cambodia, but region-wide, basically you need to have a strong qualification. So study hard, try to get as much knowledge as possible and gain specializations in your own field. You don't just study superficially, mean that you just, you have to focus a lot on your study, try to understand, try to do more research in addition to what has been taught to you in classroom. So do more research. And at the same time, try to build, as I mentioned, network that help you to progress academically and also professionally. I think it's a good chance to get to know more people because you never know if they can be your employer in the future or they can help you to be employed in other countries in the region. So number one is to intensify your knowledge, try to get more network, and at the same time, try to learn new things about culture, about language, because this basically will help you to add up and build your credential to actually obtain great opportunities for study and also for working in any country, particularly we are talking about in ASEAN and China. Yeah, thank you.
So thank you so much, Bong. So Mr. Mengtong want to add up something a bit. So he will add this up and then we will proceed to a very short Q&A session.
Thank you. Yeah, just I agree with Lisin. Yes, I think she may misunderstand about what I want to choose one language. I agree with her that you should study two languages. I even mentioned if you have family or workplace, you have speak the Chinese or English at home. You choose that. But in Cambodia, it's a bit tough. Mostly the Cambodian is our mother. It's our first language. So if you focus on two languages at the same time professionally, spend full time because I experienced that. I also speak Chinese. 我可以讲中文，我去中文读2次，我读到中3上。I speak Chinese, but I want to share the experience for those who do not have, have a family speak Chinese and they study full time. But you can understand the knowledge. But I want everyone to focus on one thing specifically, professionally. You could use it well, because in the future I want that. Even English, I want you to write it well. Chinese, write it well. You want to choose that. Yeah. If you do not have, because apart from that, you go to buy food, go to study. It's only one language in here. In Singapore, two language because people they speak in Malaysian. Some region is also that. So I do not against, but I just want to clarify that it's the culture in Cambodia. Not only in Cambodia, in some Asian countries is quite different. And if they spend some people they study full time at university and full-time in English and Chinese. But if you go to Singapore, maybe it's fine. In China, it's fine. But in here, it's a bit tough. I just want to clarify, and I agree with Li Xin. Thank you.
So thank you, Mr. Minh Tong. So due to time constraint, our panel discussion ended here. So we now open the floor to our participant here and participants who join us online via Facebook Live. So if you have any question, please feel free to ask. So we have one question from our participant online. He want to ask, what kind of career that people think it is a difficult career? How to identify that career is easy and that career is difficult? So the question is open to all panelists, so you can jump in if you like to give your insight.
Thank you for very useful and important question. Chẳng sửa núi nhầm bỏ máu có thà thua mấy bình đăng thà càng yên chấm đi na bà bạ carina bà bạ. Yeah. The first important is check about your talent. Know what you like, know what you want. Like I said, if you do not like maths, if you are afraid of blood, do not go to study doctor, medicine. It's impossible. Yeah, do what? Check. Ask yourself first. I think because because we are developing country in here, you need to get consultant. Like she mentioned about the recommendation from your professor or your lecturer that you need to get. Go to consult with your lecturer. Go to consult with me, with the young seeker, or with your senior. Tell you, because you are young. If I were your age, I was also the same. I didn't know what I like. But we have question list down. It's very easy. List down like, do you like maths? What is your talent? What you like to do? What you like reading? I recap in Khmer a little bit. Trong đăng tha chấm ní na bà bạ, chừng ca nghi na bà bạ, thử ta su luôn ai. Tí mũi bà ôn cho chất ấy kì. Very simple. Chẳng xua thắt từ xua nè nè xua nhóm các bạn xua khang đi xin mình nó gọi lực láng cú xua nè chấm niệm chẳng mìnhไปខ្លះdương ở miền ca ប្រឹក្សាច្បាស់លាស់យើងយកអាជីពខុសយើងរៀនប្របាក់តាមពិតយើងមានជំនាញយើងនៅពេលដែលយើងយកអត់ត្រូវជំនាញវាច្បាស់ហើយខ្មែរយើងគេហៅថាអូរស័យវិជ្ជាចុងគឺប្របាក់មែនតើតឹងតែបើយើងធ្វើត្រូវឧទាហរណ៍ថាយើងចូលចិត្តខាងគូគំនូចូលចិត្តខាងគូយើងទៅដាក់ engineer ត្រូវតែដល់ពេលអត់មានអ្នក consult ឬមួយក៏គេហៅថាទៅតាមគ្នាឃើញគេរៀនច្បាប់ទៅច្បាប់ឃើញគេរៀនកណន័យទៅកណន័យ that is the problem អញ្ចឹងនៅពេលដែលបងអូនចង់ដឹងគេមានសំណួរដល់ពេលដែលជួប consultant ហ្នឹងគេមានសំណួរមកជួបខ្ញុំក៏ខ្ញុំមានសំណួរដែរ very simple ខ្ញុំដាក់អត្ថបទឲ្យមើលបើកព័ត៌មានឲ្យមើលបងអូនចូលចិត្តអីចូលចិត្ត K-pop ខ្ញុំរុញទៅសិល្បៈ very simple កុំបជាចូលចិត្តច្រៀងចូលចិត្តតែងកំណាព្យចូលចិត្តអីអាហ្នឹងយើងមើលជំនាញហើយបើអត់ទេស្គាល់និយាយមកម៉ាត់គាត់និយាយមកច្បាស់មួយអាហ្នឹងគាត់យើងដឹង talent គាត់ចូលចិត្តរឿងនយោបាយគាត់ចូលចិត្តរឿងច្បាប់អាហ្នឹងរុញគាត់ទៅច្បាប់ហើយបើអ្នកខ្លះឃើញឈាមចង់កាំងបេះដូងហើយដោយសារឪពុកម្ដាយឬមួយចង់ឃើញគេនេះទៅរៀនពេទ្យឥឡូវយើងសម័យមើលបើឃើញឈាម slot បាត់ហើយហ្នឹងអ្នកខ្លះអត់ចូលចិត្តទិញអត់កើតទេអញ្ចឹងគេមានរបៀបតេស្តអញ្ចឹងបងអូនត្រូវសួរខ្លួនឯងថាគេមានរបៀបតេស្តហើយយើងទៅរកអ្នក consultant អញ្ចឹងទៅរកមកខ្ញុំក៏បានទៅ Young Seeker ក៏បាន everyone your senior your lecturer អញ្ចឹងគាត់នឹងប្រាប់អញ្ចឹងគេហៅតម្រង់ទិសគេហៅអ្នកតម្រង់ទិសដោយសារតែយើងអត់សូវមានអ្នកតម្រង់ទិសនិយាយទៅយើងរៀនតាមគ្នាភាគច្រើនយើងរៀនតាមគ្នាទៅណាគុំធ្វើតាមគ្នាហើយ never late ដូចខ្ញុំនិយាយចឹងគុំថាថ្ងៃ choose wrong career ហើយ I cannot change no cannot some people they choose the right career but they fail ខ្ញុំគាត់ប្រាប់ថាមានអ្នករើសត្រូវហើយមានអ្នក fail ហើយដូច KFC ខ្ញុំលើកឧទាហរណ៍ជាក់ស្ដែងមិញអញ្ចឹងទី1តម្រង់ទិសរកអ្នកគ្រូឬមួយក៏សិស្សច្បងគាត់នឹងប្រាប់យើងគាត់មានរបៀបហើយបន្ទាប់មកដាក់ទៅគឺស្រួលប៉ុណ្ណឹងអរគុណ
Thank you Bong. So, Bong Sophia, do you have anything to add up?
Basically, when we talk about either career or major of study, which one is more difficult and how you can identify that. From my personal experience and opinion, I think that skills major, they are difficult. If you want to do them well, if you want to learn well, everything is difficult, challenging. I would use the word challenging. But the more you work on that, the more you research on that, the more you do it, then basically you will become proficient. But definitely for sure, some major, some career may be more difficult than other because that involve the technicality. You know, some professions, they involve a lot of training, such as, you know, working, being a doctor. So you need to have a long durations for training to become a doctor. And then some other jobs as well, such as engineering, you need to know a lot about mathematics, about physics, etc. So those may involve a lot of more technicality that in basically require you to focus and pay attention. So yeah, so the more technical the major or the profession can be, then the more difficult it could be. But as I mentioned, anything is challenging, but if you work on that, you will become better and better in it. Yeah.
Thank you, Bong Pea, for your information. So, any last question? Please also tell us your name and your school, and then who do you want to direct your question to?
So hello, my name is Nyapik and I am a senior from the American University of Phnom Penh. And due to time constraint, I would like to direct my question to Bong Supet. Given that you have many experience in exchange program and your higher education abroad, do you have any message to youth who are doing the same thing but also like failing but not achieving what they want? And what do you want them to have like key takeaway or encourage them to do? Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. I think this question is really meaningful, and then it will pave the way for everyone and youth out there to be ready for the opportunity. Basically, when I was in my, I think, second year, I was not much aware of the opportunity to study abroad. So I did not have a lot of, information on how to go there, but I actually had a strong passion on going there. So at the time, I think things changed a lot when it comes to my third years at the university, where I got to be put into the classroom with my classmates, and they were really competitive. They love educations abroad, and we always help each other to share the information. And that was the time that inspired me to start jumping in the scholarship hunting journey. And then I got to, travel to different countries and study. So what I actually want young people out there to who actually are passionate in gaining the scholarship or to study abroad, number one is to first to know themselves. You need to ask yourself the question, why do you want to study abroad? What do you gain from that one? Because knowing this one is really helpful for you to keep yourself inspired, to give you a directions of where you want to go, and at the same time to help you prepare even for the applications for the scholarship abroad, because there are always questions on why you want to apply for scholarship. So first thing first is to know yourself clearly. Why you want to go and study abroad, why you want these regional or international opportunity. That will give you direction and keep you inspired to do that. Second thing, after you know yourself, then you need to identify more specifically where you want to go for your study or what scholarship you want to achieve, what opportunity you want to get. So the more specific you set that as a goal, then the clearer visions you can see and you can go for that one. You say that I want to go for the international scholarship, but you just don't know which country. So sometimes you may wander around and you just don't know where exactly you will end up. So just make it clear if you want to study in Europe, if you want to study in China, etc. So make it as clear as possible. Number one, knowing the reason why you want to go and study abroad, either for exchange program or for full degree, and then know which program. The third thing is to expose yourself to the group of people who are as passionate as you. When you are put or when you stay with a group of people who love scholarship abroad, who love to share about international experience, want it or not, you will be inspired and you will want to go there as well. Then that will keep you inspired for a time. And then definitely you have to apply for the scholarship for sure for the experience there. But the question is that for some of them who fail, who apply and fail, definitely when it comes to the opportunities, we know that more and more young people are becoming competitive, they are qualified. So it doesn't mean that when you apply and then you will stand a chance, because we are all equally competitive and qualified. So what are we going to do? Basically, you need to be persistent. You know that you want to study abroad, you want to gain the international exposure, but you don't basically succeed in the first try. What you do? Keep on doing that, because your chance will come. Maybe it is not that time for you to go yet, but you will have that chance. Don't give up because you have a clear goal. And then I have known many people who did not actually succeed in their first try, but they never gave up. Think about the time when you were young, when you first learned how to walk. You failed as well, right? You fall, basically you fell down and then you did not give up, but you tried so hard to continue walking. And that's how we are nowadays. We can walk because we did not give up. The same is true for the scholarships, for the international experience. Sometimes we couldn't get it in the first try. But if we focus on the goal, we stay inspired, we keep on being persistent, then we will get it. But make sure that we also learn from our mistake or our shortcoming. Say, for example, if we don't make it in the first try, we need to reflect back as to why we couldn't make it. What are the things that we can do to make ourselves better, and then stay passionate with our dream? Because at the end of the day, things will come to us if we keep on going for our dream.
So thank you, Bong. So it seems very motivational to me. And due to time constraint, I'd like to end our panel discussion here. Thank you to Bong and Bong Phe, as well as Ms. Station for joining us in panel discussion today.
Can I have one more question if I may, moderator?
Yeah, please.
Thank you for the wonderful sharing from the panelists, but also maybe one question, very short one. I would first ask to Sishin from the outsider perspective. Let's say here we are Cambodian, but from the Singaporean perspective, you have worked a lot with many young people. Then my question is, what would be your message or an advice to the fellow young people, especially in Cambodia and as well as other ASEAN youths, for the journey toward equipping an ideal professional careers, be it in Cambodia and ASEAN-China region? So basically, an advice and a message. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, Chayan, for this question. Based on a Gartner survey, the number 2 difficulty of all our regional companies is finding the right talent for the job. And a lot of them think that young people lack the exposure and soft skills to be able to function in a lot of these regional jobs. And I think my message to young people is that our region has a lot of economic opportunity, and the ASEAN-China relationship will only continue to deepen. So as young people, we chose the name Seekers for the Young Seekers because we want our members to always have the hunger, the curiosity, and the desire to seek out new regional opportunities. And my message to you is to do exactly that. And you know, who knows, right? Maybe you'll also join the Young Seekers. because we actually providing young people with this knowledge and understanding of these opportunities and the connections with people outside of Cambodia. Yeah, so and for myself outside of Singapore. So we wish that you join us in our dream to create the ASEAN-China savvy youth leaders of tomorrow. Thank you.
So thank you, Ms. Station. So now I would like to hand the floor over to our MC and for her to close the session.
So thank you for the three panelists for the insightful and concise idea and opinion toward our topic today. But before our event come to an end, we would like to invite Ms. Kanyapet, our project leader for the Seekers in Dialogue, to come for a closing remark and hand over the flower to our speakers.
Hello. Hello again, everybody. My name is Vidya Kanyapik, and I am the Program Officer of the Young SEAKers Cambodia, and it is my pleasure to be giving a closing remark today. So first of all, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to our three speakers today for your very insightful sharing and thought-provoking discussion. I believe that a lot of us here today learned something new. And I cannot forget our keynote address speaker, and as well as our opening remarks speaker earlier today, who gave a very warm and insightful speech that I believe all of you can take home and reflect back on. Secondly, I would like to thank our venue sponsor, which is the Singapore Cambodia International Cambodia, who has been very helpful and very cooperative in this whole process. And I'm very thankful for that. And the Young SEAKers Cambodia, who are very hardworking, very creative in this whole preparation process. And last but not least, I would like to express my gratitude to each and every one of you, the participant who joined here today, as well as participant who joined online, who contribute and make this event a successful one. My team and myself believe that this kind of platform, this Seekers in Dialogue, is very crucial for youth in ASEAN to come together, to bring ideas, to learn something new, and to build interconnectivity. So we hope that we convey this message to you all today. Before I end my remark, I would like to wish the speakers and our participants very good luck and health, and best of luck on your future endeavors. Stay safe. Thank you. Now we would like to present a little token of appreciation to our speakers.
So we would like to call for a group photo. So please. So we would like to invite everyone, our students, to come to on stage for a group photo together. Yes. And also organizing committee, please come.
Sending my flowers and the love of TWS Cambodia to Sishin in Singapore as well.
Thank you. Yeah, I was like, wow, the flower's so nice. You can bring to me when you come to Singapore. Just kidding.
Sure, in June, right?
Yeah.
Please come, everyone. Thank you very much, everyone. And also stay connected, follow our page, and I think you should make the most of this opportunity. Maybe chit chat with our speakers or with us if you have any question. Also, the Young Seekers upcoming this month, we also have a workshop. Yes, at least one workshop on personal branding and commercial branding. So stay tuned and follow our website. សូម sign กิจกรรมតិចណា Yes, follow our Facebook page over there. And again, thanks to our team so much, especially next to me, the Master of Ceremonies, Inun, and moderators, Inu, very good one, and also to our speaker once again. Thank you very much.
អរគុណអ្នកទាំងអស់គ្នាសម្រាប់ថ្ងៃនេះដែលបានចូលរួមទាំងថ្ងៃនេះជាថ្ងៃសៅរ៍ក៏ដោយប៉ុន្តែមុននឹងកម្មវិធីយើងចប់សូមអ្នកទាំងអស់គ្នា scan QR code ដែលយើងបានដាក់បង្ហាញនៅ slide ហ្នឹងដើម្បី evaluation ឲ្យដឹងថាកម្មវិធីរបស់យើងត្រូវការ improve អីគេបន្ថែមទៀតអរគុណច្រើន